Hey everybody, welcome in. It's Kat. If you're having trouble falling asleep tonight, you're in the right place. So today, while scrolling through Reddit, I found 10 super wholesome stories. While I am reading you guys these stories, I'll be playing in our Minecraft world. I'll try my best at it, and I'll try to make the gameplay as entertaining as possible. Also, if you enjoy, make sure to like and leave a comment down below. Alright, get cozy and let's ease into the first story together. A girl complimented me today and I almost cried. I'm a 23-year-old male and I was in a tough spot before the end of last year. It was not like something disastrous had happened. I had a job that was stable and extremely well paying compared to my peers around the same age. I was depressed, had severe social anxiety, and lost my will to do anything at all. Almost lost my job because of that. I decided to help myself at the end of January. First, I started by doing small changes to my routine, waking up early, finishing basic work early in the morning, not eating junk food, skincare routine, etc. And then I started hitting the gym. It's been 3 months now, and I also started seeing a therapist this month. There was this girl that I frequently saw when I went to the gym. I go there early in the morning, so there's not so many people when we're there, considering it's a relatively small gym. She is a very good looking and fit person, and I could not take my eyes off of her. I felt like a creep after a few times and just stopped looking, to be honest. Today I was at the gym early again, and there she was. I started doing warm-ups, and she approached me. She said she sees me here frequently and was surprised how diligently I come to the gym. She also said that I look great compared to how I looked 3 months ago. I was extremely surprised and almost teared up. I thanked her and we had a small chat about gym routines, diet, etc. She asked for my Instagram and I gave it to her. She said, "Have a good workout," and left. I sobbed after returning back home. I did not know getting a small compliment on my effort would make me feel like that. I don't have any ulterior motives. I'm pretty sure she was just being nice to me. I wanted to post it on here and get it off my chest and maybe give some hope to those who are feeling like I was 3 months ago. The poster then made an update 23 days later. I think I did it. The next day we had lunch together and was set for dinner the following day. I was afraid I would mess it up due to my random social awkwardness, but thankfully nothing happened. I just imagined myself talking to a friend instead of a girl. We've been talking nonstop, going to the gym together, and having dates. Yesterday, we had a quick talk about exclusivity, and I told her that I'm dating one person at one time. She said it also applies to her, and we became exclusive, I think. Never have I thought that I would date such a pretty girl. I still think she's out of my league, but I will make sure that this feeling does not hinder the relationship. Thank you for the advice and comments on the original post, story 2. Am I the a-hole for refusing to delete my son's Roblox account, even though my husband wants me to? I'm a 38-year-old female and I need some perspective because my husband, he's 40 and male, thinks I'm in the wrong here. My son is 10 years old and plays Roblox for about an hour each night before bed. His day is packed: school, homework, sports, and some leisure time. The Roblox session is really the only time that he gets to unwind, and he keeps it very controlled. He doesn't play it for hours, doesn't skip homework or sports, and knows he has limits. I work from home, so I'm around him throughout the day. I know exactly what he's doing. I monitor his schedule and I make sure he balances school, sports, study, and playtime. When he plays Roblox, I sit next to him and watch my TV show so I can supervise him while he's enjoying some downtime. The conflict comes from my husband. He is extremely concerned about predatory activity on Roblox. Some countries having banned Roblox and ongoing lawsuits makes him think that our son should not be allowed to play at all. He argues that even with parental controls, the risks are too high. I refuse to delete the account because parental controls are enabled. I've restricted chat friend requests and purchases, making his account very safe. He's responsible with his time. It's only 1 hour and it doesn't interfere with our school activities. It's supervised play. I sit next to him while he plays and monitor everything, and it's a way for him to relax after a busy day. This is his only downtime. Every time I bring this up, my husband insists that any exposure to Roblox is too risky, even under parental supervision. I feel like I'm being reasonable, and deleting the account would punish him unnecessarily. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to delete his Roblox account? Okay, so this update came 2 days later after that initial post. So, my husband actually read through a bunch of your comments. At first, he was stubborn, but after seeing how many people said supervision plus limits are key, he agreed that we should at least try to have a middle ground instead of deleting everything. We decided to talk to our son about online dangers, don't give out info, don't trust strangers, tell us if something weird happens, and our son nodded very seriously. Many comments suggested that my husband sit with my son and try to understand his world. And honestly, my husband did try that. My son would say, "See, Dad, you grow a garden. Seeds like Ember Lily and prismatic ones earn you the most profit. Then you blah 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 blah, a whole lot of nonsense." My husband just sat there with a blank face. None of those words make any sense to us. But he was so confident explaining it like a professor giving a lecture. My husband didn't want to kill the moment, so my husband just said, okay, I get it now. Spoiler, he did not get it at all. Now, my husband actually sits with him during Roblox time. Our son is thrilled to narrate everything. Meanwhile, my husband just looks like he's watching an alien language stream in real time. I sit there with my show and just laugh quietly. So, no, we still don't understand Roblox. We're just two clueless millennial parents trying to decode what our son says while he's living his best life. But at least we're now approaching it together instead of arguing. Thanks, Reddit, for pushing us in the right direction. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that she's ruining her child's life with the name she gave her? I'm a 21-year-old female, and I've been friends with Lorene, 22, female, for 17 years now, and we're really close. She recently gave birth to her daughter, and she and her husband recently told us the name. They decided to name their daughter Juliet. I'll admit it's a pretty wild spelling of Juliet. You can see it on the screen, and her middle name is Maria. I thought the spelling was a joke until she told me that they're serious. I told Lorene that with that spelling of a simple but beautiful name is just going to ruin that little girl's life. She got mad and told me to stop ruining her mood and that I'm being mean. I'm completely honest. The spelling is just bad. Nothing else can explain it. Why ruin such a beautiful name by including letters that don't belong there? I texted her yesterday and told her that her daughter will try to change her name, or at least go by her middle name since it's normal. She told me to stop texting her and that I'm a bad friend and that I'm being an a-hole for making fun of the name. I haven't replied, and honestly, I don't think I'm the a-hole here, but I thought I'd post on here since y'all are the best to judge. Update 1. Alright, I get it. I'm an a-hole for going after the name more than once. Sorry for that. Lau, I just sent her an apology text for doing it. Yet I did write how she should try to look at it from another perspective. I also sent a few screenshots of comments just for her to see what other people think of it. For your information, I'm supposed to be the godmother, which is why I was extra worried about it. My bad. Update 2. I've been asked if there are any updates, and yes, there are. So I've been talking with Lorene a lot over text, and she's slowly starting to notice her mistake. I apologized again, and we're good again. We talked about the name, and she told me that she won't change it, and she really loves it, but she's slowly understanding why it's weird for others, especially me. Her husband, on the other hand, is still pretty mad at me. He thinks that I took it too far and that my apologies aren't from the heart. I've been asked if I'm still the godmother, and yes, I am. They had thought about changing it, but now that we get along again, I'm back in the role. Back to the husband, he actually blocked me on everywhere and is telling Lorene to do so as well because he thinks that I'm manipulative and that I'm lying just so that we can get close again. Doesn't make sense. IDK. Well, either way, it's getting better with the relationship, just not with the name. Story 4. My wife and everyone think I got laid off, but really I quit so I could make a go at being a Twitch streamer full time. My wife doesn't follow or know anything about Twitch or video games at all. She doesn't have any knowledge of or connection to the industry that I used to work in. Her salary is enough to cover our bills, although things will be a bit tighter until I start making money from my stream. I'm not going to tell anyone until I'm bringing in enough money that I can do it full time. I've never been happier and not stressed as I am right now. It's easy for me to just lock myself in my home office and say that I'm networking or job hunting when really I'm streaming if my wife or my 3-year-old is home. If she's not working or my daughter is at daycare, it's harder, but I can make it work. I feel a bit guilty for lying, but I've wanted to do this for such a long time. No one that I know in real life knows about this. Obviously, I'm posting this on a throwaway account. Update: the initial post was 3 years ago. This guy came back after 3 years and gave us an update. I know I'll probably get flamed, but I get it. I understand that I'm the one who ruined my life and my marriage. My divorce was finalized a year ago. My wife found out 6 months after I posted. I understand why everyone hates me and sided with her. I'm gutted. I miss her and I miss my daughter because she only lives with me half the time. Whenever I see my wife's sister or other members of her family, they give me the stink eye. I can't believe I was such a lazy piece of garbage while she was out there busting her ass as a paramedic. Story 5. I'm sick of my boyfriend's childish hobbies. The poster identifies themselves as a 28-year-old female and their boyfriend as a 30-year-old male. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years, but I'm becoming tired of his childish hobbies. 2 days ago, he spent over $100 on these Nintendo toys and games. He has a toy room lined with very expensive action figures from video games, Legos, and cartoons. Some that I consider quite LWD for someone in a relationship. Altogether, I'm pretty sure that he spent thousands of dollars on that room, not including his video game collection. Over the past month, he probably bought 8 different games for his PlayStation, and I think that was overboard. I recently invited some out-of-town friends over for dinner, and one of them accidentally walked into his toy room and agreed that it was pretty embarrassing for someone that's an adult. He makes decent money, a lot more than me, but I think it's time for him to give up and sell all these things so he can finally move on and become an adult with me. Story 6. Am I the a-hole for telling a girl to stop wasting food? Usually, I always sit with the same group of people in my university's dining area. There's this girl who I've talked to a few times, but I'm not really friends with. She's kind of quiet, but when she finally talks, she seems normal. I've sat across from her a few times and noticed how she was eating because it was always weird to me. She eats maybe half of her food. Keep in mind, you can control the amount of food that you get. It's cooked by the cafeteria staff buffet style. She could easily just take less. But, anyways, she eats half of her food and kind of just plays with it with her fork when she's done, aka eating half of it, sometimes even less. And I didn't say anything for a while, but a few weeks ago I had to ask her why she always only ate half of her food. She seemed a bit embarrassed, but answered that she always thought that she was more hungry and then laughed it off. I then asked her why she made this mistake every time we ate, and that she must have learned by now. She didn't really answer and left pretty quickly, but when she does, she still eats like this, and I couldn't hold it in anymore, so I asked her once again, and then also asked if her parents never told her not to play with her food. She got really mad at me and told me to stop commenting on her eating habits and that it was none of my business. I told her that it absolutely was, since she was sitting at our table and obviously wasting food. She told me to go eat myself and then threw out the rest of her food. After she left, one of my friends told me to leave her alone as she seemed like she was having a hard time and maybe she had some sort of issue with food. Edit. Okay, I'm the a-hole. Sorry I'm not studying to be an eating disorder specialist. I looked stuff up about it and I'm realizing that I was too harsh. I'll apologize next time I see her and try not to be so condescending, but you all should follow your own advice. If people genuinely don't know something, you should tell them nicely instead. And I realize I should have tried to educate her nicely about food waste and not have commented at all on how she was eating story 7. My friend has a secret that could blow up our entire friend group. Okay, so I'm a 27-year-old female, and I have to give a bit of background on our friend group to illustrate the gravity of this situation. I'm in a friend group of about 8 people, which was essentially founded by these two guys, Mark, 28, male, and Jay, 29, male. Mark is single, but Jay has a fiance. Allie, who's 36 and female. Jay and Allie are getting married next summer. The rest of the group really isn't relevant to the story. Mark and Jay have been best friends for years. I think they're coming up on like 22 years. They were neighbors, went to the same schools, and got into the same college, so they wouldn't have to be separated. They are actually platonic soulmates to the point of finishing each other's sentences a lot of the time. They're the glue that holds this entire friend group together. When Jay and Allie first got together, Mark was a little bit weird about it, mostly due to the age gap, but he's come around a lot. They still don't get along perfectly, but he said that he's happy for them both and is going to be the best man at their wedding. Last week, Mark got a promotion and Jay was out of town scouting venues, so Mark invited me to go get trashed with him to celebrate the promotion. Near the end of the night, he was hammered and grabbed my arm and told me he had a secret and that I couldn't tell any of our friends because nobody knows. He told me that he was in love with Jay and had been for years. He went into great detail about how attractive he found him, how good he had been to him all his life, and then he got this really freaked out reaction like, I know you're friends with him, I know you're dating Allie, I can't do this, I just had to tell someone. I assured him I wouldn't say anything. He also said that it was purely emotional, that he would never act on it because he respects Jay's relationship and values their friendship too much. The next morning, I left him a text saying I was sober now and that I was okay with what he said, and I wasn't going to tell anyone. He thanked me profusely. I have no idea what to do with this information. I haven't mentioned it to anyone, and I feel like keeping this secret is eating me up. I also feel like if I told Jay, it could destroy their relationship and the friend group, but keeping it feels heavy. Story 8. My brother took my wife while I was away. This is one that still makes my stomach turn thinking about it. I, 32 Mians, was out of town for work, and my wife, 30F, and my brother, 28M, were supposed to take care of my dog and some chores. While I was away, I got a text from a neighbor saying they heard my brother leaving my house late at night. Confused, I called my wife, and she was acting strangely. After pressing her, she admitted that my brother came over and they had sex. She said it was a mistake and begged me not to tell anyone. When I got back, the house felt tense. My brother avoided me entirely, and my wife acted normal but distant. I confronted both of them separately. They both tried to excuse it, saying it just happened, and we didn't mean for it to happen. I have since moved out temporarily. My parents are involved, but neither my brother nor my wife are apologetic in any meaningful way. I'm left feeling betrayed on multiple levels. Story 9. I want to start calling my adoptive mom instead of her actual name. I'm a 15-year-old male, and my biological parents put me up for adoption when I was born. So I was always in foster homes until I was 12. I had a teacher, Janice, 33, female, who was my homeroom teacher. Janice found out about me being a foster kid and how I wished I had a family. Janice had also been a foster kid growing up. And so, long story short, she then became my foster mom and adopted me. Janice is the best mom I could ever ask for. She's been so unbelievably kind and loving to me, and I absolutely adore her. The problem is that I don't call her mom. I call her Janice. I want to start calling her mom, but I have no idea how to do it without making it awkward. Please help me, internet strangers. There's then an update to this post shortly thereafter. Thanks to all of you who responded, and some of your ideas really made me tear up. Anyways, this morning I went to Janice and said, "Good morning, Mom." She just looked at me and started crying and came over and hugged me and kissed me on the forehead. I hugged her back, and she said I could call her whatever made me comfortable and that she loves me more than anything. I just replied with, "I love you, Mom." Story 10. I'm a waitress, and I have a huge crush on a regular customer. So I'm a 24-year-old female, and I work part-time as a waitress, and I have a huge crush on a guy who tends to come in for breakfast or lunch a couple times a week on the days that I'm working. He's handsome, super sweet, and I'm pretty sure he's single, but I'm not 1,000% sure. If I had to guess, I'd say he's between 25 and 27. I've gotten to know him a little bit since we talked sometimes when it's not too busy. He said he moved here a few months ago. I'd love to ask him out, but I have no idea how, and plus I get really nervous around him. Whenever he comes in, my manager always makes sure I get him, since she knows I have a big crush on him. His bill is usually between $8 and $9, but he always pays with a 20 and tells me to keep the change. Do you think that's a sign that he likes me? Yeah. My manager said she's seen him drive a really expensive sports car a couple times, so the large tip might not mean anything, but she said she catches him looking at me quite a bit and said he never comes in when I'm not working. Considering I'm a kind and shy person, what's the best way to ask him out without being extremely embarrassed or nervous? My hands are sweating just thinking about it. This is 6 days after the initial post. I have good news. As I mentioned in my original post, I normally work Friday mornings, and he comes in for breakfast at the same time every Friday. Well, I had the day off, and I decided to show up for breakfast at the same time as him, and it worked out perfectly. I sat down in the area that he always sits and waited. About 10 minutes later, he walked in the door and saw me sitting down ordering breakfast. He came up to me and looked at me a little puzzled because I wasn't wearing my uniform. He asked if I had the day off, and I said yes. And he said, "That sucks. You're my favorite waitress." I also did my hair and put on some cute clothes that morning, and he noticed because he complimented me and said I looked, quote, really pretty. I could feel my face getting hot. I probably turned 10 shades of red. Next thing I know, he asked if he could sit at my table with me. I was so nervous. Normally I'm really shy around him, but he made me feel comfortable and was super easy to talk to. We sat and talked for a while before our breakfast came. My manager was the one waiting on us, which she never does, but she's been encouraging me to make a move on him for quite some time. She was so happy for me. Anyway, I felt like he was giving me signals the entire time, which made me a lot more confident. So I finally worked up the courage and asked if he'd like to hang out sometime, and he agreed. We swapped numbers, and he's been texting and flirting with me a few times a day ever since. Since we've been texting, I've learned that we both enjoy hiking, so I suggested that we go hiking and check out an old lighthouse, which isn't too far from where we live. He just moved here, so he's never seen it before. We live on the Great Lakes in northern Michigan. When we were texting last night, he mentioned that he'd like to go to this fall festival, which is coming up in a couple weeks, and wanted to know if I'd go with him. So I playfully said, "Are you asking me out on a date?" And he said, "Yes, will you please go with me? We're hanging out and going out on a date." Okay, so there's another update here 2 months later. It's been a couple months since my last post, and I think you guys deserve a happy update. 2 months ago, I left off by mentioning that I was going to take him out on a date and show him around the area a little bit since he just moved here. We had planned on going to a lighthouse, which was a short drive from where we live. I was afraid it was going to rain, but it turned out to be the perfect day. We packed a little picnic, spent an afternoon hiking. I thought it was so romantic, and we had a great time. Over the next couple weeks, we continued to see each other and go on fun dates. I wanted to take things to the next level so badly, but I wanted to wait and make sure that he felt the same way about me. After a couple weeks of dating, we were hanging out at his place one night, just watching a movie, and that's when he finally asked me if we could be exclusive. So here we are. We've been in an exclusive relationship for a couple months now, but I feel like I've known him forever. We just click. Anyway, he has a huge family, and they had Thanksgiving last weekend, which I was invited to. He begged me to come. I'm a shy person, so I was a little bit nervous, but they made me feel so welcome. His mom's a total sweetheart, and his dad's hilarious. When we were leaving, I gave his parents hugs, and his mom said to me, "You know, he always talks about you, and he's madly in love with you." My boyfriend was so embarrassed. I've never seen him get so red. I invited him to my family's Thanksgiving as well, and my family loved him, which was a huge relief because my dad hasn't liked any of my past boyfriends, but he immediately took a liking to him and had to show him around his shop because they're both into cars. It was so nice to finally bring a guy home that dad approves of. And of course, my mom and aunts all thought he was a hunk. Anyway, I just figured I'd let you know how the date went and that we're finally a couple. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Hopefully the stories and the Minecraft helped you relax a bit. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.